Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Easy Learn. And today's topic is the sine rule. And we're going to be doing some practice today. If you haven't watched my sine rule explanation video yet, pause right here, check the link in the description below, go understand the concept first, and then come back for solving. So today's question is find x. Now, this is my triangle where one of the length is 15 meters, another one is 30 meters, and an angle given is 25 degrees, and one of them is x. Now, if I want to find x, now if you notice carefully, I'm dealing with two angles and two lengths. So when I have two lengths and two angles, I use the sine rule. Now for sine rule, the formula is sine A, that's capital A upon small a equals sine capital B over small b. Now in this particular question, if you look at it carefully, let's suppose if I'm taking my sine 25, so if I write down sine 25 over the length that is right opposite to that is 15 equals, now if I take this x as my sine b, but you need to notice that for this specific x, there is no length on the other side. I don't have any length, which means I cannot take this x technically because this x is also missing. The length opposite to that is also missing. Now, in one question, I can't be having two missing lengths or angles, whatever. I have to have three of them, either two angles and one length should be known so that I can find the other length, or two lengths and one angle should be known so I can find the other angle. Now, if you notice, I have a 25 and right opposite to that is a 15, and I have a 30, and right opposite to 30 is missing. So, which means that if I have a 25, a 15, and a 30, and only one angle is missing, so perhaps I can find this angle first. Let me label it as y. Once I have my y, it's going to be fairly easy to find my x. And then I'm going to tell you how. So first thing, whichever is missing, that's what I'm going to be finding. So 30 is there with me, and the right opposite to 30 is y. So I'm just going to write sine 25 over 15 equals sine y over 30. Now first thing I'm going to do, sine 25 over 15, that gives me 0.02817. So I'm just going to write that down, 0.02817. When you're midway your solution, just do not round off to one or two decimal places. Just take a few more, take 4 to 5 decimal places so that you get a more accurate answer. So once I have 0.0287, and then I have a sine y over 30. Now this 30 needs to go to the other side because I need to find my y. So in order to find my y, I need to be isolating y or making y the subject. So when 30 goes to the other side, now because this 30 is in division over here with the sine y, when it goes to the other side, it turns into multiplication. So I'm going to do 0.02817 times 30 equals sine y. So if I check that out on the calculator, it gives me something like this, 0.846. So I'm just going to write down 0.846 equals sine y. Now again, since I have to find my y, I need to take my sine to the other side. And as discussed pretty much earlier and in many of our videos, that when sine, cos, or tan, when they go to the other side, they turn into something like this, sine minus 1, or it's known as sine inverse. And that you don't have to really work it out or do anything much for that. It's just available on your calculator. So when you take your sine to the other side, it becomes sine minus 1 of 0.846. And if I do that on my scientific calculator, here you can see that there is an inv function that is called the inverse. Also, make sure whenever you're dealing with sine, cos, tan problems, your calculator is set on degrees until and unless they ask you to give your answer in radians. Then you select radians, otherwise it's always degrees. So when you do inv, you have something like this, sine minus 1, cos minus 1, and tan minus 1. Because we're dealing with sine, I'm just going to do sine minus 1. And when you write that on your scientific calculator on Google, you have something like this, arc sine 0.846. That gives you 57.779 and so on. So I could just round it off that my y, let's suppose, is 57.8. So this is going to be my angle y, which means this one right here is 57.8, or perhaps I could also call it as 58. Now once I have this angle, Now you have to realize that if I have two angles in a triangle, then it's just pretty easy to find the third angle. Why? Because three angles of a triangle are equal to 180 degrees, which means that if I add these two angles and I subtract them from the 180, I'm going to get my answer. So it's going to be something like this. So if you round this 57 to perhaps 58, so you can just take it down as 180 minus 25 plus 58, and that is going to give you something like this. That is 97. So 180 minus 58 plus 25 gives you 97. So therefore I have my angle x, that is 97 degrees. So this angle right here is 97 degrees. So that's how you're going to find. All you have to do is, for questions like these, is that you need to make sure which ones are you taking as your capital A, which one are you taking as your small a. If you would have taken, let's say, sine 25 over 15 equals sine x over 30, then you wouldn't be getting the right answer, because 30 is not the length that is corresponding to this angle. So that's why you had to find first the angle that was corresponding to 30, and then you do 180 minus and all that, so that you get your x. So you just have to be careful and cautious when you're solving questions like these. Hope you understood the question. And if you have any questions, any confusions, drop them down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching Easy Learn. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.